Hello, good evening, and welcome back. Justin Trudeau, new video of Canada's Prime Minister in blackface. And I always find it funny when these things happen, considering it seems to be it's like he doth protest too much. You can kind of guess that these people have a dark past, if you pardon the pun, that is very much intended, simply because they're hoping, yes, well, I've got to speak out louder, because I know that kind of thing might have happened to me, but if I seem like I'm really against it, then people are going to look into my history about it. Oh, right, yeah. Whereas the people who haven't done it don't care, and that's why they haven't done it. It can also be the same about drug use. I mean, of course, Michael Gove was an example of that with cocaine. He wanted to be an exception to the rule, to say, yes, I used cocaine when I was younger, but everybody was doing it, and, you shouldn't impound people just because of a mistake they made when they were younger. Meanwhile, of course, he's enforcing policies that imprison people for making a mistake when they're younger. So it's one rule for thee and another for me. And he's a conservative. And here we have someone from the other side of the spectrum who's very far on the spectrum, who looks a lot more like Castro than Trudeau Sr. And he's just living on his dad's legacy. Anyway, and you can decide which dad I'm referring to there. But here we see, he's obviously trying to go for his Me Too moment as well, seeing his hand position here, and that's why Neil deGrasse Tyson had that debacle recently with the whole Me Too kerfuffle because of where he was placing his hand on a lady, and therefore it's the same here. And of course there are great examples of Keanu Reeves looking like a real power man because he isn't hugging the ladies because he knows the trouble he could get in. So he's just being very open. But yes, so we have him dressing up as Aladdin, Al-Adin, seeming a bit too dark for the part. Seems like it was just an excuse. Maybe it's what he gets off on, who knows. Singing songs. They are the Jamaican folk song. And this is from 2001, so when he was 29 and a teacher, as it goes on to say. So let's read on. A new video has emerged of Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau wearing blackface a day after he admitted such behaviour was racist. Admitted. I like it. Like, yes, this is fact, so now you admit it. This isn't a statement of opinion. No, it's a statement of fact. He apologised on Wednesday after photos of two similar episodes, one when he was a teacher and another a student. You need a comma there. Come on, BBC. Use the Oxford comma. Came to light. His Liberal Party says the video is genuine and dates from the early 1990s. The revelations come amid campaigning for the 21st October election when Mr. Trudeau hopes to win a second term. Let's hope he doesn't. And I'm also thinking, is this going to be from the opposition or is it going to be from somebody within his party or somebody else on the left because they think it's more damaging than people on the right do? And I hate it when people on the right speak out about this as if it's somebody who are. It's like, well, hey, let's stick to our morals and our principles and let them stick to theirs. We can say that it's very hypocritical to condemn other people for doing things that they've done, but if we don't care, let's not pretend we care. Okay, cool. We're not the same. We don't have to drop down to their level. So what is in the video? The footage, first obtained by Global News, shows Mr. Trudeau in a white t-shirt and torn jeans. His face and limbs appear to be covered in black makeup. Oh yeah, he doesn't go half-assed. He goes full in when it's black. He is seen laughing, throw his hands in the air, sticking his tongue out and pulling faces. Even darker than Al Johnson. But what have we heard about that since then? Nothing, because his opinions are correct. Mr. Trudeau would have been in his late teens or early 20s. Blackface, which was more prevalent in the past, particularly in the entertainment industry, involves white people painting their faces darker and is widely condemned as a racist caricature. Yes, the idea is you do something to mock somebody and you're using stereotypes, and this is just stereotyping based on a group identity, something which the left seems to love. So I don't see why they would have a problem with it. Unless there's a particular class that you're not allowed to criticise, in which case, because they can't handle it, which suggests some sort of bigotry and racism there, but hey, let's not get into that armchair psychology here. So what about the other episodes? On Wednesday, the embattled Prime Minister apologised for wearing brown face makeup at a gala at a private Vancouver school where he taught nearly 2 decades ago. I sympathise for his students. But then again, they haven't spoken up about this, so maybe nobody cares. How about that? Nobody actually cares. The 2001 yearbook picture obtained by Time magazine shows Mr. Trudeau, then aged 29, with skin-darkening makeup on his face and hands at the West Point Grey Academy. And it's also very convenient timing, isn't it? Considering it's from 2001 and then you've got things from the 90s. It's like, yes, just because he's going for a second term. So I'm intrigued to know who ousted this and who wants it to stop. Because I would have thought that his yearbook picture, especially considering he was son of Canadian fame anyway, that it would have been available earlier if people cared to look. And if you're saying, well, it didn't matter beforehand, well then it doesn't matter. You're not going to reprimand someone retroactively. Although, of course, the left seems to like the fact that what we think of now as morally right and morally wrong is how it should always be, and people who have done things however long ago, we should judge them by today's standards, which is ridiculous, because surely then in the future you're going to be judged by the future standards, not today's standards. The main one people go to is, of course, abortion. Addressing the image, Mr. Trudeau said he deeply regretted his actions and should have known better. But you didn't! But let me guess, you want a special exemption. The second image to emerge Wednesday shows Trudeau performing in a talent show as a student at high school. Well, it's... Okay, let's make a talent joke there. Okay. He wore blackface and sang "Dale," a Jamaican folk song popularised by American civil rights activist Harry Belafonte. Oh, so you're not just stereotyping a particular ethnicity here, but you're really going for their civil rights activism. That's cold. How did Trudeau respond? Castro Jr. The images are acutely embarrassing for the Prime Minister, especially as he has made progressive policies a signature issue. Yes, but by progressive we mean regressive because he wants segregation. Speaking to journalists after the Time article was published, Mr. Trudeau said he had dressed up in the photo in an Aladdin costume at an Arabian Nights themed gala. I take responsibility for my decision to do that. I shouldn't have done it. It's actually fair enough. Yeah, good man, well done. I should have known better. Yep. It was something that I didn't think was racist at the time, but now I recognise it was something racist to do and I am deeply sorry. Cool, so intent actually matters. I agree with you, but you don't hold the same for everybody else, so why should we care about you? The images have brought a strong response in Canadian media. And the point of, like, I agree with your stance now, but of course your side doesn't. It's nice because that means that anybody who is true to their principles can just abide by them and doesn't have to change them for this. As we say by his opposition, and who's being a cunt as far as I'm concerned. But hey, whatever. So well, you don't need to get involved in it because you can let the left eat their own because that's what they do. And Trudeau's getting cancelled anyway, so why not just leave them to it and just rise above it? That's what Trump likes to do, and that's why he tries to make the Squad the main image of the Democratic Party. He forces them to defend them, and then America thinks, hang on, why are you defending people who don't like America and want us to go fully socialist? But let's just see what his opposition says, because I've mentioned it a bit now. They say, what is brown-faced? Yeah, and this is a great name. Mustafa Farouk. Oh yeah, there's definitely an R in there, don't forget to pronounce that. Executive Director of the National Council of Canadian Muslims, said, seeing the Prime Minister in brown-face blackface is deeply saddening. The wearing of blackface brownface, you switch it around second time, nice, is reprehensible and harkens back to a history of racism and an Orientalist mythology which is unacceptable. Orientalist. So does that mean you can't say they're from the Orient? Like the Orient Sea? And Orientals? Is that bad? Did I miss that memo? So when you say Asians, are you talking Indians, Pakistanis, Chinese, Japanese, Korean? I mean, are you distinguishing between two very different cultures? No? Okay. Council added that it recognised people can change and devolve over 2 decades. Brilliant. Later, the council issued a tweet thanking Mr. Trudeau for apologising promptly. I hate this all calling for apologies, and it's the same for other stories that are going on, and it just seems to be a big who at the moment. That, you said that you must apologise, apologise to these people, say sorry. So, well, how about we actually take responsibility for our actions and move forward trying to fix these things? Yep, instead of just saying, yeah, it was wrong and I shouldn't have done that, my apologies. It's like, cool, but what are you going to do about it? You know, you've just shown us that you've erred, you've made a mistake, you've caused a problem, and maybe you intended it at the time as well. So how about you now do something to fix that? How about that? That'd be nice, but no. And if you think that you should stand by your morals and say, well, someone like this shouldn't be elected into office, then you would stand down. I would say that that's just cowering out of it, though. So in that case, you'd have to, what would it be? So in this case, if you were to do something like that and say, this is terrible, we've already painted yourself into a corner, I suppose. So you'd either have to change the regulations then to say, well, actually, this kind of thing is okay, but then you're still a cunt for saying it beforehand. In which case, you'd have to make some sort of action and compensation to the people who were affected by this, even though I don't think anybody was. but something along those lines. So let's see. Andrew Scheer, leader of the opposition Conservatives, said the picture was racist in 2001 and was racist now. Wow. What Canadians saw this evening is someone with a total lack of judgment and integrity and someone who is not fit to govern this country, he said. I just squeezed that in at the end there. I don't think that's related to his lack of judgment for the country. New Democratic Party leader Jagmeet Singh Sikh said the image was troubling and insulting. Anytime we hear examples of brownface or blackface, it's making a mockery of someone for what they live and what their lived experiences are. You don't know my experiences, Mr. Singh told journalists on the campaign trail in Toronto. This is about every young person mocked for the colour of their skin, the child who had the turban ripped from their head, he wrote online. Yeah, most of those are hoaxes, but I hate to break it to you like that. No, I don't. And also criticised in a tweet by Green Party leader Elizabeth May. I'm deeply shocked by the racism shown in the photograph of Trudeau. He must apologise for the harm done and commit to learning and appreciating the requirements of model social justice leadership at all levels of government. In this matter, he has failed. Yeah, well, your standards are going to be too high, so let the Oppression Olympics begin. But as always, let me know what you guys think down below. Always intrigued to hear your opinions on such matters. Do you think he should be permitted to continue his reign of terror there? Or just a trail of awful policies after awful policies? Because of this photo, obviously he shouldn't because he's awful, but will this make any change? Has he done the right thing in what he's done so far, or should he make further action? Is it a big hoo-ha, and do you think it's best if we just let them eat their own? Or if anybody from the opposition, I suppose, is watching, good on you, well done. But what do you think of it? I'm more intrigued to hear what you guys have to say. Okay. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.